These are the hardest videos that I make, but also I think they're the most important videos that I make, because not only can I help people to avoid these situations, but also it helps to remind me that I need to follow my own advice. Hello friends, welcome to Chickenlandia. My name is Dahlia. I'm a backyard chicken educator, also known as the president of Chickenlandia. Raising chickens has been the best way for me to find peace and joy in my life, and I want to help you find that too. Today I have my emotional support chicken with me, right, Bubba? He's such a good chicken. You're a good boy. Oh, and he's so soft. He just makes me feel calm, and that's so important, right? All right, I'll put you down. Chickenlandia is full of chickens and a few ducks that are from all walks of life. I have a lot of chickens that have been through trauma. I've got some chickens that, were just in bad situations, or they are the sole survivor of a predator attack. I've got a few chickens like that. But for the most part, a lot of my chickens are just, they didn't work for the breeding program that they were in. And so the person that gave them to me was just looking for a nice pet home for them to live in. So they didn't really have anywhere else to go, but it's not like they were in a bad situation. I do want to say that I also have chickens that I just got because I wanted them. Like, they're not rescues. Like, Pickles is not a rescue. Vega is not a rescue. These are chickens that are like, I want that chicken, I'm getting that chicken. And so now they live in Chickenlandia. You may have seen in my videos, I had this beautiful Splash Moran, and she has been in Chickenlandia since I started this channel. She was a beautiful chicken. She laid these gorgeous dark brown eggs, very healthy her whole life. I absolutely loved her, and her name was Jessica Lang because she was flawless. Jessica came to Chickenlandia before I even had this YouTube channel. She came to the old place that we had in the suburbs. She came to me before I even did my TEDx talk. I think it was right after we sold our farm store, because we used to have a farm store in Linden, Washington. Never doing that again. But we did have one, and it was right after we got out of that situation and sold the farm store. That's when she came to live with me. So much has happened since then. I mean, honestly, when I think about it, the whole world has changed since then. And Jessica has just been there in Chickenlandia, watching us go through that and doing her chicken thing, just pecking and scratching and just always being there. A few weeks ago, I noticed that Jessica was sleeping on the floor in the coop, which was strange because Jessica always slept on the top roost, and she was always like one of the first ones on the roost. She was definitely very high on the pecking order. She was one of my biggest chickens. She had her place, and the other chickens knew to respect her, and they knew her place. She was very gentle, but she was definitely a leader. And I noticed that she was sleeping on the floor, so I knew that that wasn't right. I also knew that she was older. So I was like, okay, I'm just gonna keep an eye on her. She was still pecking and scratching. She was still seemingly quite happy during the day. So I didn't think that much of it, but in the back of my mind, I was like, okay, it's beginning. A few days after I noticed that she was sleeping on the floor, I noticed that she all of a sudden had a really poopy butt. Sometimes chickens will get a poopy butt and it's nothing. You just have to clean it up and it's gone. Sometimes they have a poopy butt because they have mites, and so you have to deal with that. But she didn't have that. She never had mites or lice her whole life. Even if a whole bunch of other chickens in my flock had them, she never had them. That's how healthy she was. She was very resilient. So this kind of poop was yellow and runny, and when I see that, I know that there's infection going on. And so I was like, oh gosh, Jessica's not feeling good. She was kind of just standing around. She wasn't being herself. And in that moment, if I'm being really super honest, I had the thought, okay, don't treat her. Don't treat her. Let her go. And it's really hard for me to have that thought because I don't want to let my chickens go. I of course want to treat them. When they get sick, I want to do everything I can to help them out of that situation. But there is a point when treating them is worse than just letting them go. And I don't know. I was really conflicted about it. I didn't listen. I kind of put that in the back of my mind. And I started to treat Jessica. And what that involved was removing her from the flock at night, which she didn't particularly like because she was always with her flock. That's all she's ever known. Like I said, she had never been sick, so she'd never been separated from her flock. So that was like different from her. But I brought her in, and I started to give her some medication. And what that involves is just, picking her up, opening her mouth, putting the medication in. And it was medication that I had from the vet already. But, she wasn't like really, really struggling and fighting against it. But I knew that if she had what she preferred, that would not have been happening to her because chickens don't really like that. But anyway, that's what I did. At one point, I really actually started to feel a little bit hopeful because she started to sunbathe again. She started to peck and scratch. She was eating a little bit, and she seemed like she kind of was recovering. So I was like, oh, okay, this is really good. She's getting some time with her flock. She's sunbathing. She seems happy, but that did not last very long. A few days in, all of a sudden, she went downhill really fast. And I brought her inside, and I set her up in a very private place that was quiet. I gave her some things that I give chickens when I know that they're dying, just to make them comfortable. And in the morning when I woke up, she was gone. So I buried Jessica that day, and later on I was just thinking about her life, and I decided to message the guy that gave her to me. He's a friend of mine, and so I messaged him and I was like, hey, do you remember when you gave me Jessica? Like, when did you give me this chicken? And he was like, oh, let me think. It was, we were thinking about the farm store and thinking about my YouTube channel and all this stuff. It turned out, after we thought about the timeline, that he gave me Jessica in 2014. And when he gave me Jessica, she was already 1.5 years old. So when Jessica died, she was over 10 years old. And when I heard that, I thought, oh my gosh, I didn't listen. I knew what was right. I knew that it was time to let her go. I knew that it wouldn't be great to be messing with her and trying to get her to survive at this point in her life, that it was time for her to move on. That would mean less suffering for her. It would be less stressful for her. But I didn't listen, and I just started kicking myself. I was like, oh my gosh. I didn't give her what she deserved after, being with me for so long and watching my kids grow up and everything. I didn't give her the ending that she deserved. So I know some of you are probably thinking, oh, come on, it's not that big of a deal. You were trying to help her and she's okay. She's in a better place now. And I do agree with that. I know it's not awful. But what bothers me about it is that it's like completely against the advice that I literally give all the time on this channel. And in fact, it is the first rule to mindful chicken keeping in my book, Let's All Keep Chickens. The rule is listen to your heart. You're going to have all kinds of things happen in your chicken yard. And a lot of times you're not going to know what to do. And in those moments, it's really the time to kind of take a step back and just listen to that part of yourself that's like connected with your gut feelings, and ask yourself, what should I do in this situation? And in this situation, it was really clear that I needed to let her go, but I just couldn't accept it. I was like, no, I hear that. I hear it. I know it's there, but I'm going to put it aside and I'm going to do this other thing because I feel guilty about her being sick or whatever, and I'm having all these feelings about it and I don't know how to deal with it. And really all I needed to do was listen to my own wisdom, listen to my heart. And it would have been better for her and for me and just for everyone. But I do know that listening to your intuition, listening to your heart, it's like a muscle that you have to practice using. You know, you have to exercise it. And since I got chickens, I've been building that muscle. And there is another muscle that I'm trying to build being in this chicken yard. And that's forgiving myself, you know. And you know, I'm crying right now because of my chicken, but it's never just about chickens. Especially when you get to my age, you know, and I'm not like super old, but I've lived almost 50 years. And there's a lot of things I have to forgive myself for, and I'm working on it. Every day I'm working on it. So this is a lesson, you know, and I just reflect it back onto my life. And I remember it's okay. You know, I'm okay. I'm a human being, and I make mistakes, and that's okay. Whew. Messing up my makeup. That's why I barely ever wear it, because I cry a lot. So, I don't know a lot, but I know one thing, and that is that Jessica is not out there feeling resentment towards me. What I really hope is that she's out there knowing that she was very loved in this last lifetime, and that she goes to her next adventure knowing that and feeling that and having that be part of what she takes with her. I really, really hope that's true. Oh my goodness. Well, I didn't know it was going to go this way. I really didn't. Tell me what's going on in your chicken yard. What's going on? You know, how are you feeling? Is there anything that you're having feelings about that you want to talk about? I read all the comments. So even if I don't comment, because obviously I can't answer every single comment, but even if I don't, I usually see every single comment. And I also have a really good community. So if you post something that you're having a hard time with, I know that there's going to be people that will help you with it. The other thing that I know, that I hope that you know more than anything else, is that you are always welcome in Chickenlandia. Bye.